When people pack for the Camino de Santiago, they usually focus on the obvious things: shoes, socks, trekking poles, backpacks. This is not that list. After walking the Camino, I realized there are a few things that don't often show up on packing lists, but solve problems you run into almost immediately. Some of these I packed, and others I learned about along the way, but every single one makes the Camino feel easier and more sustainable day after day. And stick around until the end, because the last one is something I haven't seen on any other packing list. Number 1, an electronic muscle stimulator, also called a TENS unit. I'm starting off with the most important item you didn't know you needed. If you have any kind of knee or hip or back history, I highly recommend bringing an electronic muscle stimulator unit for recovery. You might not think you'll need it, but if something flares up, you'll be really glad it's already in your pack. I almost didn't bring one because I was worried about the extra weight, but I packed a small unit as a precaution since I've had back issues in the past, and it ended up making a huge difference for me. In the first week after an intense climb over the Pyrenees, followed by hours downhill, my knee started flaring up, and this little device genuinely saved my Camino. I started using it at night on and around my knee to help my muscles recover, and I'd also stop during the day, use it for about 20 minutes, and then keep walking. I also picked up some anti-inflammatory cream and a knee brace along the way, which was easy to do because pharmacies are everywhere on the Camino. Those things helped too, but they weren't hard to find once I knew I needed them. What wasn't so easy to find was the muscle stimulator. When I used it one evening in an albergue, people were fascinated. Most had never seen one before and wished that they had brought something similar. They're relatively inexpensive, usually around $25 to $50, and super easy to find either online or at local retailers. You might not use it every day, but if something starts causing you pain, you will be thanking me on the trail. Number 2, a foot massage ball or a golf ball or tennis ball. You don't need anything fancy for this. At the end of a long walking day, your feet don't just hurt. They feel tight and swollen and overworked. And rolling them out just for a few minutes can be so incredibly relieving, especially before bed. It helps your feet relax instead of staying clenched, and it makes the first steps the next morning feel a little less brutal. When you're walking day after day, those small resets really add up. You can bring a small massage or spike ball, or even a golf ball or tennis ball works just as well if you don't want to pack anything special. People who make it through the long walks without major foot issues usually have some kind of simple end-of-day foot care ritual. This is one of the easiest ones to stick with even when you're exhausted. Number 3, a sterilized blister needle. I didn't bring a sterilized blister needle, and I wish I had. When I got what I called a triple blister, which was basically 3 blisters stacked on top of each other in the same spot, the pressure was so bad that I couldn't walk without doing something about it. I ended up using a safety pin I found in my bag to relieve the pressure, and it worked. And honestly, if I hadn't done that, I don't think I would have been able to keep walking, but it also probably wasn't the most hygienic option. There are these pre-sterilized blister needles you can bring with you and use only if you need them, and they give you a much safer, cleaner option than improvising with whatever you can find. When a blister is fluid-filled and painful, relieving the pressure without turning it into an open wound can make the difference between managing it and having it turn into something that stops you from walking. Number 4, lightweight sleep headphones. Now, this next one sounds obvious until you're actually trying to sleep in a shared dorm, because earplugs and earbuds don't solve the same problem. This distinction really matters. I did bring earplugs, and I still recommend them as a backup. They helped with general noise, but they did not drown out the loudest snorers. When it got really bad, the only thing that worked for me was listening to white noise. I used my AirPods for that, and while they helped, they came with a few problems. They're not comfortable if you're a side sleeper, and when the battery starts dying, they make that little alert sound, which, if you're a light sleeper like me, can wake you right back up. Sleep headphones are different. They're soft and flat and designed to be worn while lying on your side so you can actually sleep in them. You can play white noise or meditations or calming audio all night without the discomfort or surprise battery alerts. After walking long days, the Camino isn't just physically demanding, it can be emotionally intense too, and having something that reliably helps your nervous system wind down at night makes a bigger difference than people expect. They're relatively inexpensive and have some really good reviews online. This is one item that I will definitely be bringing for my next Camino. And if you're using your phone at night for things like white noise or sleep audio, this next item becomes even more important. Number 5, a full-size power bank, not a mini one. This is about being realistic in shared albergues. Outlets aren't always near your bed, and sometimes there aren't enough to go around. If you want your phone with you overnight for an alarm or sleep audio or just peace of mind, relying on a wall plug isn't always an option. I brought a smaller half-size power bank, and it barely managed one full charge. A more robust power bank can charge your phone overnight and still have enough power to get you through the next day. This is one of those items where the extra weight is actually worth it. Number 6, a foldable tote bag or a light backpack. This isn't something to use while you're walking, it's for once you arrive to town. Now, some people bring a fanny pack, and that can be super helpful for basics like your phone or wallet, but Once you start picking up groceries or carrying a water bottle or throwing in something extra like a tripod or a jacket, a small bag makes a lot more sense. I just brought a cheap foldable drawstring backpack from the Dollar Tree and it held up the entire Camino. It doesn't need to be anything fancy or expensive. My cheap bag worked perfectly fine and ended up being one of my most used items. Number 7, a Kula cloth. Now this one's just for the ladies, but this is one of those items I didn't bring because I didn't even know that it existed. A Kula cloth is a reusable pea cloth that clips to the outside of your pack. One side is waterproof and the other side is a soft, super absorbent antimicrobial fabric. On the Camino, there are these long stretches without bathrooms, so you end up peeing outside more than you might expect, and this replaces the need for toilet paper. It folds so the used side stays discreet and then hangs on your pack where the sun and airflow can help it dry between uses. I saw these clipped to backpacks constantly, and every woman I talked to who had one loved it. It's cleaner, easier, more eco-friendly, and just one of those things that makes Camino life way simpler. Number 8, Ziploc bags in multiple sizes. This is one of the most underrated Camino items. Ziploc bags help separate dirty clothes, isolate items if there's a concern about bed bugs, protect snacks, keep documents dry, and protect electronics from the rain. They're also useful for managing wet or sweaty items inside your pack. And yes, while you can pick these up along the way, they're definitely one of those things that's genuinely helpful to have from day one. They're simple, lightweight, and endlessly practical. Number 9, one lightweight town outfit. Some packing lists do mention bringing an extra outfit, but I wanted to call this out because I think it matters more than people expect. You will get so sick of your walking clothes. Having just one non-walking outfit makes a huge difference when you're in town, sitting down for dinner, or just trying to feel like yourself again for a few hours. For women, that could just be a simple dress, and for men, it could just be a lightweight pair of shorts or pants and a clean shirt. Just bring something that doesn't feel like trail gear, gives your body a break, and it helps shift you out of walking mode. And it makes it easier to actually enjoy being in town. Doesn't need to be fancy, just comfortable, lightweight, and different from what you've been walking in day after day. Number 10, a Kindle or a lightweight e-reader. This is one I didn't realize I would miss. After walking 15 or 16 miles, there were a lot of days where I didn't want to go sightseeing or walk another mile or two around town. Just wanted something easy and restful to do. A lot of the time that meant my options were drinking a beer with people, or scrolling on my phone, or feeling guilty for not journaling. A Kindle would have been a healthier, more grounding way to rest without defaulting to my phone. It's lightweight, the battery lasts forever, and it gives you something nourishing to do when your body is exhausting but your mind is still awake. Now, there's one thing I haven't seen mentioned on any other Camino packing list, and I think it's because it doesn't solve a physical problem. It's not about walking or recovery or sleep. It's about the moments when the Camino feels heavier than you expected. Number 11, a small grounding object. It's like a personal token, something you keep with you, not in your pack. This can be something you bring from home, like a special coin or a bracelet or a sentimental token, or it can just be something that you find along the way. A stone or a shell or something else you pick up on the trail. It truly doesn't matter what the object is. It just matters that you assign it a simple intention. That might be reminding you why you're doing the Camino, or helping you slow down when your mind starts spiraling, or bringing you back into your body when a day feels heavy. When things get overwhelming, you just touch it or hold it or notice it and use it as a reset point. I didn't plan for this, but I ended up with 2. I found an evil eye bracelet one day while walking and I stuck it to the Velcro of my walking poles. And seeing it there each day gave me a sense of comfort, like I was a little more protected out there, and it stayed with me for the rest of the trail. I also found this small, smooth stone that I carried in my pocket, and taking it out at night and putting it back in the morning became this simple ritual. Each time it reminded me to pause and feel grateful for my body and for being able to walk and just for the experience itself. The Camino has a way of bringing up things emotionally when you least expect it. Having something small like this doesn't fix that, but it gives you something physical to return to when your mind starts to spiral. None of these items are flashy, and most of them don't show up on standard packing lists, but they solve problems that people don't anticipate until they're already walking. So if you're packing for the Camino, think less about packing for the version of yourself that's excited and optimistic, and more about packing for the version of you who's tired, sore, and wants to keep going tomorrow. If you want a full Camino packing list built with that version of you in mind, check out this next video. Thanks for watching, and Buen Camino.